NBC Sports, home of the Olympic Games, Notre Dame football, the Premier League, the NASCAR playoffs, Sunday Night Football, and Super Bowl 56, only on NBC.
We are running everybody in our house. They're on the place we'd rather be right now.
Put that camera on me, dog.
Waiting all day for Sunday night. Let's get it.
You thought nothing could surprise you. You thought you'd seen everything, but you never saw me coming. All eyes on me, ready or not.
The Rams are pouring it on the Giants.
Folks, it got a sideline. Make that catch.
I'm on my way. You can't stop what I got. Ready or not.
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Come, so you better get ready.
Whatever it takes, we gotta get this win, man.
Ready or not. Down zone, you best get moving. I'm about to change the game.
Game-winning touchdown in overtime.
It's all the same. Ready or not, you can't escape.
Geno Smith throws a perfect pass.
You can't stop what I got. Ready or not.
Pittsburgh touchdown. How about that? A much-awaited victory.
Oh, we're ready for Sunday Night Football, and it's coming from the Steel City. Now listen, we are used to seeing one thing. It's fans waving their terrible towels in Pittsburgh, but we're not quite used to seeing the Steelers with a losing record. It's 39-year-old Ben Roethlisberger that's hoping to change that here tonight. Meanwhile, the Seahawks are also looking to get back to 500, but they're going to have to do it without their franchise QB, Russell Wilson, who's got a finger injury. So it's Geno Smith who's off the bench and making his first start in almost 4 years. Pittsburgh and Seattle, a Super Bowl 40 rematch to finish off Sunday number 6 right here on NBC. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Football Night in America. I'm Maria Taylor with Tony Dungy, Andrew Breeze, and obviously Mike Tirico's not here. He's calling the game tonight. Mike, we hope you hurry home. We miss you, but we're looking forward to tonight's game. And obviously, we talked about Big Ben. He's 39 years old, coach. He's a veteran. Geno Smith, he's a little bit of a journeyman. He's making a start for the first time in forever. What do you stands out to you about this matchup, especially offensively?
Well, for Pittsburgh, that 39-year-old quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, needs help. He needs a running game. Last week they had it, dominant running game. Will that show up again tonight?
You don't think Geno Smith has been waiting for this opportunity? He's been biding his time, playing behind some really good starters, learning a lot, but here's a guy who's still prepared for himself as a starter, and he knows this offense, and he's ready to take advantage of this opportunity tonight.
All right, well, we're a little over an hour away from Geno taking advantage of that opportunity, Drew, but let's give you the opportunity to talk about what you've seen so far today and what kind of stands out.
Yeah, Ravens, Chargers, two of the hottest teams in the NFL today. You thought this might be a shootout? I'll tell you what, the Ravens and what they've been able to do this year after being decimated at the running back position up to this point, how they find Devontae Freeman and Latavius Murray off the street, but that's one thing, the formula that this team will always have. They're going to run the ball, they're going to play aggressive style defense, and oh, by the way, they have Lamar Jackson who can make plays all over the field.
And how about the Green Bay Packers? Week 1, they look terrible. Oh, it's all over, and Aaron Rodgers, what a distraction. Well, you know what? Aaron Rodgers has a good team. He's got some help. Aaron Jones playing fantastic. Defense stepping up. Green Bay Packers are hot right now, and I think Aaron Rodgers likes playing with this football team.
I love the fact that Aaron Rodgers, he pulled back out the belt.
A big belt.
A big belt. He had a couple things to say to the Chicago fan base, and you're going to hear all about that a little bit later. And also the Packers defense stepped up, which made Coach very happy,
Yes,
in our screening room. What makes us happy is that Chris Sims has to be all by himself for the entire show. No, just kidding, Chris, but you are keeping track of the best throws we've seen so far today. What are they?
Well, I miss you over here, Maria, but it's all right. You can be the king of the show over there. But let's get to it right off the bat, right? The Los Angeles Rams, best throws of the day, the hottest combination we've seen in the NFL up to this point this year. It's Matthew Stafford to Cooper Kupp. 28-yard gain. Just, you know, they're going to go to him with the ball in big moments, and it always delivers. All right, another hot combination. I mean, this is the best big play combo we've seen in football so far this year. I feel like I'm talking about these two every week. Leave Jamar Chase one-on-one. Joe Burrow's going to throw the bomb throw down the field to the sidelines. Perfect throw right there. Then We had the Magic Man return today a little bit. Yeah, the Kareem Abdul jump sky hook there. Who does that? Oh, Patrick Mahomes does. Then gets outside in the pocket, little shovel pass. He wasn't perfect today, but we did see that Mahomes magic once again today for Kansas City and their big win, Maria.
All right, Chris, love that you got Magic and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar into a football highlight. Now let's go out to Pittsburgh and say hello to Rodney Harrison and Jack Collinsworth. Good evening, guys.
Good evening to you, Maria. And Rod, you know these terrible towels all too well. Any favorite moments in this year's city?
Absolutely. In 2004 AFC Championship, I picked Big Ben off 87 yards for a touchdown.
And they're even clapping for it right now. This Steel City, it was built on defensive football. We start every week looking for the best D around the country. So who put on a show in your eyes today?
I got to talk about those Baltimore Ravens. They were outstanding today, stopping one of the hottest quarterbacks in the National Football League. And they did a great job of coming up, disguising, dropping guys in coverage. And it looked like Justin Herbert, he was confused. He didn't know what was going on. I got to give a lot of props to the Ravens secondary, not giving up big plays down the field. 1 interception, 2 sacks, 7 pass breakups. I think that's a great day against the Chargers.
Rob, we got a power shift going on right now at the top of the AFC. You have the Bills, the Ravens. They have earned their spot at the top of the conference. Who do you trust more at this point?
Oh, I'm going with the Bills. I'm going with the Bills. Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the AFC, and I love their veteran defense.
Seems like everybody's got a marching band these days, doesn't it? Week 6, it's when the real teams make their move to the front. The Steelers and the Hawks on Sunday Night Football.
I'm Bobby Wagner, and my cause is the HBCU Legacy Bowl. It's going to be a game where we take all the top athletes from HBCU colleges across the world, and they come out and basically like an all-star game for them to come out and show their talents. I think it's important because last year I don't think anybody got drafted, and so it's just providing more exposure because they have amazing players. They just don't always get the exposure because they don't go to the big schools, so they're not on these big time programs for them to be seen. So it's an opportunity for them to be seen and showcase their talents and hopefully change that number and increase that number this year.
That's Seattle's All-Pro linebacker Bobby Wagner supporting historically black colleges and universities. It's the first edition of the HBCU Legacy Bowl. It's scheduled for February 19th, the Saturday after Super Bowl 56. And our own Tony Dungy spoke with Wagner this week. Their full conversation is on NBCSports.com and Peacock. What was your biggest takeaway, Coach, from that combo?
Well, I asked Bobby why HBCUs, because he's not an HBCU grad. He said, I just love the history, and I think some of these young men need an opportunity.
And we saw Jackson State, over 50,000 fans are there for Coach Prime, and we saw him get the win. They're 5-1 after homecoming. Now, Wagner's been a part of some very great Seattle defenses over the years, but that unit has now gotten off to a historically bad start over the last couple of seasons. Remember, they were on pace to have the worst defense in NFL history over the first 9 weeks last year, but then they did a little bit of a bounce back over the second half of the season. But this year, they're in the same spot. They've given up over 450 yards per game, which is again on pace for the most in the NFL. So let's walk through this, Coach. How do you make the turnaround, do the exact same thing you did a season ago with this Seattle defense, and can they?
Well, we have to look at what they did last year, and that was start to get some big plays, some game-changing plays. A lot of it was Jamal Adams at the line of scrimmage, blitzing, making tackles for loss. They aren't getting any of those, and that's what they've got to do, find some playmakers. I don't know where, but that's what they've got to do.
And they just don't do anything really well. They're near the bottom of the league in run defense, in pass defense, in forcing turnovers, and they're going to have their work cut out for them in this game. They've got to be able to stop this Steelers run that has started to kick up, and I just don't think they match up very well outside. They play a lot of one-on-one coverage, and there's just too many weapons on that Steelers side of the ball.
And when you don't match up well, you need those game-changing plays, sacks, interceptions, fumble recoveries. They haven't gotten them.
All right, the Seahawks have given up at least 450 yards for the last 4 games. Let's talk about the Steelers defense, though. Let's head back out to Pittsburgh, and once again, Jack Collinsworth.
Yeah, Maria, so far the Steelers offense, they haven't had that same amount of horsepower like they once did, just 27th in points per game. So how does that change the approach for their defense then?
Defensively, their mindset has to be they have to win the game. They can no longer count on Big Ben and this offense to pull out games. And it starts with T.J. Watt. He's outstanding. We know he has to put constant pressure on Geno Smith. But another guy that I want you to pay attention to is Cam Sutton. He is outstanding. He's a defensive back, very versatile guy, plays multiple positions. You'll hear his name called out a lot. And Minkah Fitzpatrick hasn't really made a lot of game-changing plays, but he is definitely the leader of the secondary, and I expect his name to be called a whole lot tonight.
I hear you, Rod. And Rod, they're going to have Geno Smith tonight, right? Making his first start in almost 4 years, but he looked good last Thursday. How much pressure do you expect the Steelers to bring in his face?
Listen, I'm not worried about Geno Smith. He's been in this system almost 3 years. He's a veteran player, and like Drew said earlier, he's looking for this opportunity. So I'm not worried about Geno Smith. I think he'll be fine, Jack.
And he's a veteran guy now. He's had a chance to learn from Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, and then Russell Wilson. Most recently, he has waited patiently for tonight ever since those days with the Jets. All the highlights coming up. We'll show you two of the best quarterbacks, how they look on the road. The Packers head to their NFC North rivals. Aaron Rodgers had a message for those Bears fans as well. Plus, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they're in Washington for a bounce back after the Bills.
It's time for some highlights. We start in London, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tua Tagovailoa back after missing the last 3 weeks with injured ribs. In the fourth quarter, Dolphins down 17-13. Tua finds Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, great throw. Tua played really well today. He energized this offense. It's been stagnant so far this year, Maria.
Okay, I'll tell you what wasn't stagnant. Matthew Wright from 54 yards away ties up the game at 20.
Yeah, you see that?
Well, they're over the pond, so it hooks.
It hooks that way?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize it goes that way over there.
I'll keep teaching you. Ensuing drive. Dolphins go for it on fourth down, and Malcolm Brown is getting stuffed for no gain.
Stuffed. Huge stop here by the Jacksonville Jaguars defense. Running the ball has not been a positive for the Miami Dolphins all year long.
All right, Jaguars take over Miami territory. 5 seconds left. Jaguars are going to go for it on 4th and 8. Trevor Lawrence is going to go for it. See what happens?
What a play call here. Thought it was going to be a Hail Mary. Really smart here. 1 second left. They get a chance to kick the field goal.
Yes, and we're going to walk you through exactly how they made that decision in a moment. Wright's back on for a 53-yard field goal for the win.
You're right. It does hook that way.
I told you, and it's good. The Jaguars win 23-20. That snaps their 20-game losing streak. First win for Urban Meyer. First win for Trevor Lawrence. And ultimately, they take a win back into the bye week. Houston taking on Indianapolis. First quarter, let's talk about Carson Wentz and him going deep to Paris Campbell.
Big plays were the theme of the day for the Indianapolis Colts on offense. Paris Campbell deep, T.Y. Hilton deep, got the run game going. They looked really good today.
All right, Campbell did end up going out with an injury, but good news is T.Y. Hilton is back.
They need him back. They do. This is a part of their offense they've missed over the first 5 weeks. Hopefully T.Y. can provide that for them.
Season debut after a neck injury. Okay, Jonathan Taylor. Why would you take it 83 yards?
I mean, he is one of the premier big play running backs in football. And you're seeing this Colts offense. I know they're 2-4, but I think they're a dangerous 2-4 football team going forward.
3 plays later, he deserves the ball. Taylor gets it in the end zone for the touchdown. Colts take the 21-point lead and would go on to put up a season-high 31 points. Cincinnati taking on the Detroit Lions. Joe Burrow looking to Chris Evans.
Yeah, one-on-one matchup. Great read by Joe Burrow. Phenomenal throw to go with it.
First career touchdown for the rookie out of Michigan. Now Burrow to Mixon.
Yeah, kind of wide open here. A little play action face. And Jamar Chase with a great block down the field. Bengals offense made a lot of big plays.
Chase telling you, I don't just catch the ball. I can also come up with big blocks. You know, after the game, Detroit obviously still the only team that's winless. Dan Campbell calling out Jared Goff, saying he needs to do more. But for Cincinnati, they're doing great. They already have more wins this season than they did a year ago.
Doing great. And I think everybody keeps expecting them to like fall off. Like they're the Bengals. They're not going to keep winning, right? No, they're here to stay. They're too good on the offensive side of the ball. They got talent on the defensive side of the ball, so we better get used to talking about them.
Okay, big challenge coming up for them next week against the Ravens. But, okay, Chris Sims believes in the Bengals. Tony, Drew, do you guys as well?
I absolutely do. I think that Joe Burrow and this cast of weapons on offense will continue to build chemistry and only get better. And how about that Cincinnati pass rush? They're going to cause a lot of problems for team down the road here.
They are, and I thought today really showed some maturity. You and I both came in and said, hey, this might be a game Detroit could get. And, you know, thinking about Cincinnati's history, but they squashed them today.
No letdown at all.
Maria?
All right, guys. Well, another game that was in that block of games was obviously the Jaguars getting their first win of the season. Mike, you talked to Trevor Lawrence afterwards.
Yeah, and look, let's set the stage. It was 20-20. There's 5 seconds left. It's 4th and 8 from the Miami 44, and the Jaguars were planning to throw it to the end zone. Trevor Lawrence told me he didn't want to do that, so Miami calls a timeout, gives the Jaguars a chance to change their mind. And on that play, you had the receivers covered about 6 yards off the ball. There was a defensive back in the middle that Trevor Lawrence had to manipulate with his eyes before the play because he didn't have time to do it during the play. It worked. They got the first down, kicked the field goal, and finally got a win.
Huge win for the Jaguars. Now Pete Carroll in his 12th season as a Seahawks head coach looking for a win in Steel City. We are getting you set for Seahawks and Steelers on Sunday Night Football.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Sunday Night Football! Everybody watching!
Najee.
Let's go.
Najee gets the call.
Let's roll.
It ain't too many coming out from where we at. Yeah, I've seen him doing his thing. Being from the Bay, playing running back, making statements with your playing ability.
Play hard, but I work harder.
Najee Harris, wow, did he make a great play.
I was born to run, cause I was born fast.
I like that the boy, when he got there on the field, he just relentless, ruthless.
Superman over the top.
Well, a couple star running backs from the Bay Area. They've developed an awesome friendship. Marshawn Lynch has a mindset that every rookie ball carrier should learn from. And Pittsburgh's top draft pick has created an energy in the Steelers' backfield that reminds you of the Le'Veon Bell days, if you will. Rod, they believe in Najee Harris right now, and for good reason.
And so do I. And let me tell you, just watching him play, he is so motivated because he plays so hard. I mean, think about it. He's running guys over. He's jumping over guys. And if you're an offensive lineman, how do you not get pumped up? And this kid is fighting and clawing, trying to get every inch, every yard. I love this kid.
And Big Ben always loves getting it to the running backs in the passing game as well. How dangerous can he be as a receiver?
Oh, yeah, we haven't even talked about the versatility. He's 6'2", 230 pounds with soft hands, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. Tell me what defensive back want to come up and tackle him.
Right, there's a reason right now that this is the first time that the Steelers have used a round one draft pick on offense since 2012. They did it for Harris. It looks like a worthy investment so far, Maria. Back over to you.
All right, thanks, Jack. We're going to get you back to the highlights. Los Angeles Rams taking on the New York Giants. Daniel Jones started today after leaving last week with the concussion, but a sack fumble is how he starts it out.
Out of pass rush from the Rams, and it wasn't all Aaron Donald today.
No, not a great day for Jones. Great day for the Rams, though. They take advantage. 4th and 1. Matthew Stafford. Who's he going to look for, Coach?
Cooper Kupp in the red zone. I think Drew Brees tells us
every week. 3-yard touchdown. Kupp's 6th receiving touchdown of the season. He'll add another one later on. Giants trying to rally, though. Jones is intercepted by Taylor Rapp.
Just one bad decision here. Didn't see underneath coverage. Bad throw.
Rapp got the game ball after this one, but just before half, Stafford not finding Kupp. Darrell Henderson for the 25-yard score.
Mismatch, running back on a linebacker.
All right, well, the Rams moved to 5-1, best start since 2018. How about Kansas City taking on the Washington football team? Second quarter, it's the Chiefs up 10-6. Taylor Heineke to Ricky Seals-Jones.
This was a fake screen. Everybody jumped on the screen. Easy touchdown. Bad defense by Kansas City.
Washington led it 13-10 at the half, but then Patrick Mahomes to Tyreek Hill. That's normal.
RPO, and I'll take the option to go to my hot man.
Hill was dealing with a quad injury, but finished with 9 receptions, 76 yards, and 1 touchdown. Fourth quarter, Chiefs up 24-13. Mahomes, Demarcus Robinson.
3rd and 5. Don't just go for the first down. Go for the icer.
All right. Mahomes, though, leads the NFL with 18 touchdown passes. The final score, 31-13. But it wasn't pretty in the first half. Just 10 points and 3 giveaways. The second half, the Mahomes was able to turn it around with 21 points and 0 turnovers. So, Patrick, how do you feel about the day?
I've had a lot of interceptions this year. It's not a secret. And you kind of have to just move on. You have to just kind of keep playing. Because at the end of the day, if you're the interceptions, I mean, they're on the stat sheet, but if you're getting wins, no one really cares about them. So you have to find a way to win games no matter what it takes.
All right, Coach, no one really cares about them?
I don't know about that.
I agree with the short-term memory, but you have to acknowledge that it's a problem, and it's gotten you beat 3 times this year. The turnovers and the sloppy play. And call it what the difference in the way defenses are playing these guys, but they have to acknowledge that these are the things that will get them beat. Not today because they played the Washington football team, but it's got them beat. A good pass, but tip ball, and it gets intercepted.
And we talked about last week when we had these guys, the ordinary things. The ordinary thing is to hang on to the football when you're running in the red zone. Sloppy play.
And then here, you could sense the frustration. They begin to press. Just go down. Play for the field goal. I know it's 3rd and 1 and you're frustrated because you dropped the snap, but that can't happen.
Well, one thing Patrick Mahomes said before this game was he has to go back to fundamentals. And I remember, Coach, you saying that last week.
No, it is. It's all fundamental football, doing the little things. And, Patrick, I hate to disagree with you, but you say nobody cares. I promise you, Andy Reid cares about interceptions and fumbles.
It's nothing like having a coach up on the set. He's going to remind you about what matters, okay? I'll tell you what, though. T.J. Watt knows what matters. He's a 2-time All-Pro, celebrated his 27th birthday on Monday. I know what a great birthday gift would be. A win against the Seahawks. He also has 5 sacks on the season.
Securing the win. Presented by Simply Safe.
We make no excuses. We seek no comfort whenever it is that we play.
The Seahawks can celebrate. NFC West champ, the youngest head coach to win a Super Bowl. Seahawks Super Bowl 48 champion.
You know that you don't believe in moral victory. You're right, I don't.
Let's go win the game, let's go! And they've secured their victory.
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood. By Microsoft Windows 11, brings you closer to what you love. By Corona Extra, find the fine life, live La Vida Más Fina. And by Allstate, save money like a champion with Allstate.
Well, they're ready in Pittsburgh. They always have their terrible towels ready to rock and roll. The fans are getting hyped for their Sunday Night Football matchup against the Seahawks, and obviously they're hoping that one of their young stars, Chase Claypool, has a really good night. Time for tonight's Points Bet Pulse. Now, the Steelers are 5-point favorites, but remember 11 days ago, Seattle was favored by 2.5 points, and that 7.5-point swing is the biggest of the NFL season so far, but part of that shift was, of course, due to Russell Wilson's injury, and part of it was due to Chase Claypool and the Steelers' bounce-back game against Denver last week. For more on Claypool's QB, Ben Roethlisberger, it's over to Drew and Chris.
All right, Drew, we're going to break down Big Ben. I mean, know who you are. That's going to be a little bit of this theme with Big Ben. You know, so far this year, when Big Ben has been in the pocket trying to buy time like old Big Ben, oh, get out of my way, and pumps the ball everywhere, it leads to disastrous things for the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. So let's roll the tape here and check this out. This is the one thing Big Ben is really troubling him in the Steelers offense right now. Nobody open, you know, abort mission. Throw the ball away, go down, take the sack. But we've seen one of these turnovers at every game so far this year. Drew Brees, now show us the good.
Yeah, but here's what the 18-year veteran will do for you. He knows he wants to throw the ball up the seam in the middle of the field, but he knows he has to hold that backside safety in order to throw this laser beam up the seam to Chase Claypool. The Steelers offense wants to throw the ball down the seams, up the field, and that's something that Big Ben can still do.
Yep, well, there's the Big Ben live right there coming out of the tunnel. One thing both you and I know is if they run the football and get one-on-one matchups with these receivers outside, he could still hit you down the field. Download the PointsBet app and get betting options you won't find anywhere else, Maria.
Excellent, Chris.
Thank you.
All right, let's get us back to the highlights, Coach. We start with the Vikings at Carolina. Panther star Christian McCaffrey, he's still sidelined with the hamstring injury, but Dalvin Cook came back from Minnesota after missing last week. Remember, it was an ankle injury. We go straight to the third quarter. Vikings down 17-12. Cook, let's go for a run.
And it's amazing what a difference these backs can make with their team. They just bring energy and excitement. Dalvin Cook, fantastic today for the Vikings.
All right, the next Vikings possession, it's Cousins to Adam Thielen for the 5-yard touchdown. He had 11 receptions for 126 yards.
Excellent ball placement there by Cousins.
Okay, now it becomes the Sam Darnold show. Are you ready, Coach? 4th and 10 on their own 4. Darnold finds tight end Ian Thomas
Yes, mismatched on a linebacker with no help. Big play to get him out of the hole.
Okay, later in the same drive, it's another 4th down. Darnold not scared. Neither is DJ Moore.
Double move to DJ, got him in scoring position.
Literally the next play, it's Darnold finding Robbie Anderson in the back of the end zone for the 7-yard touchdown.
Where was the cover?
It wasn't worried about Anderson, I can tell you that. 2-point conversion to tie this ball game up. The rookie tight end, Tommy Trimble, catches it.
Nice play there, tie score, but they left Minnesota a lot of time.
And so the Vikings had a chance. No good from Greg Joseph. Remember, he was the hero just a week ago, but the Vikings got the ball first in overtime, so let's go there and find Kirk Cousins looking for KJ Osborne.
And this was an excellent throw. Osborne extends the ball over the goal line, touchdown.
All right, so guess what? The Vikings hold on in Carolina. It's their 3rd win in 4 games as they head into their bye week. The final score, 34-28. All right, the Packers taking on the Bears, the oldest rivalry in the NFL, taking place at Soldier Field. And we pick it up in the 4th quarter. Bears down 10. 1st and goal, Justin Fields.
They overcame a lot of penalties and problems on that drive, got it in to tighten the game up.
All right, when I think about the Packers, I think about Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams.
And is this just classic Aaron Rodgers? Back foot, just off balance, hit his man, and again, where's the double coverage on Adams?
I don't know, but there goes the tiptoe down the sideline. That was good for 41 yards. Adams has 4 receptions and 89 yards on the game. Later in the drive, 1st and goal. Pump fake, let's score.
Yes, and when you play Aaron Rodgers, you can't let him escape to his right. He's too dangerous, run or throw, and now he's going to celebrate a little bit.
All right, Aaron Rodgers, what do you have to say? I'm sorry, Bears fans, but he's low-key right because Aaron Rodgers against Chicago is 22-5 if you include the playoffs, and he's won 5 straight games against the Bears. He pulled out the belt, and he had a conversation with the Bears fans. So let's ask Aaron why he felt the need to do that after the touchdown run.
I looked up in the stands, and in the front row, all I saw was a woman giving me the double bird. So I'm not sure exactly what came out of my mouth next.
Oh, we're sure what came out of your mouth next. All right, time now to simplify the game, powered by Microsoft Surface. Drew, Chris.
All right, we're going to break down this Packers offense, the balance that they have shown this year. There's a toughness and a grit to this offense that I don't think we've seen the past 2 years, and that's where let's get to the tape here and just show you all the different ways that Green Bay's offense can beat you, Drew.
And this is when they went to the next level. When Matt LaFleur came in, Aaron Jones and this run game, their ability to create these explosive plays has been a big difference maker for them.
No doubt about it. Then they hit you with the play-action pass. Rodgers has shown great patience this year. He knows his defense is good. Check down, but then you got Aaron Jones run after the catch, which is so dangerous.
And like Coach Dungy said, I'm waiting for somebody to double Devontae Adams, especially when he's in the slot. Their ability to throw a 5-yard pass that turns into a 40-yard game, it's uncanny the chemistry that these guys have together.
Yeah, it really is. The Packers, of course, are one of the best teams in football. Offense is efficient. They execute. They got a defense that's for real this year as well, Maria.
Yeah, let's talk about it, Coach, because that's what you enjoy talking about. The Packers defense only allowing 14 points today.
I do. I love defense, and the Packers defense really did a great job of holding the Bears down while the Green Bay offense was finding its way.
Yeah, how about this? They only allowed 277 yards today, which is very impressive. But we had Mike Florio catching up with KJ Osborne after the game. Mike?
He had that 27-yard game winner in overtime, and he was the second read on the play. Said Kirk Cousins trusted him, threw it, scored. And at the end of the play, he did something that we saw a few years ago from former Vikings receiver Stephon Diggs. Off with the helmet and the helmet thrown. Osborne said he had decided beforehand, if he scored, he was going to do that move. He and Diggs are friends. They trained together in the offseason, and Osborne had watched that play a lot of times. He finally got a chance to do it himself.
All right, in the huge overtime win. I love it. All right, Drew Brees, DK Metcalf. He sure has grown up into a superstar, but you know him when he was younger.
I remember DK Metcalf running around at Saints training camp as a 12-year-old. His dad, Terrence Metcalf, was with us as an offensive lineman during training camp. He has grown up quite a bit since then.
All right, among league leaders with 5 touchdown catches so far this season. It's his 3rd year with Seattle and looking for a win against the Steelers.
Simplified the game, powered by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL.
It's a homecoming. You know
football night in America. Served by Applebee's.
Well, there's an October wind in the Pittsburgh air to welcome those terrible Towels home for some primetime football. And Jamal Adams, he leads this Seahawks defense into town with added responsibility now that Russell Wilson is on injured reserve. Rod, I know you talked to Jamal Adams this week. What did he tell you?
Well, he was frustrated because he wanted to be more a part involved in a defensive game plan. But if I'm a coach, there's no way I'm putting Jamal Adams in a deep part of the field. That is a complete mismatch. That's not what he does best against these fast, athletic wide receivers. He had 9.5 sacks as a defensive back. What you have to do with Jamal Adams, get him moving forward. Put him on a line of scrimmage where he can have one-on-one opportunities against running backs, against tight ends. This is where he's at his very best, and he told me that he'll be a lot more involved tonight, so I'm looking forward to seeing him.
You bring a little bit of that heat tonight. That's what he told you.
I'm getting pumped up myself.
Sunday Night 7 is back as well, Rod. It's Geno Smith. How many passing yards and passing touchdowns this evening?
Well, I'm going to go with 220 to 249. I was a little hesitant because of the weather. The weather looks perfect, and 1 touchdown. I think he's going to put in at least 1 touchdown, Jack.
You can make your picks along with us on the NBC Sports Predictor app. Maria, we'll get it back over to you.
All right, thanks, Jack. We're going to get you back to the highlights. Chris, let's do this. The Raiders take it on the Denver Broncos. Obviously, special teams coordinator Rich Bisaccia is serving as the interim head coach as John Gruden resigned on Monday. Derek Carr, though, to Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, big plays all day long from the Raiders offense. You thought maybe they'd struggle without John Gruden being there all week, but they found ways to dial it up over and over again. Here's Derek Carr, Maria, out of the backfield. Perfect little touch pass to Kenyon Drake. Beautiful play.
A 31-yard touchdown. The Raiders take a 10-point lead into the half. We take you late to the third quarter. Carr on 3rd and long, throwing it up again to who else but Henry Ruggs.
Henry Ruggs. They had answers. If you're going to blitz Derek Carr and the Raiders offense, he's going to know where to go with the ball and have a plan. We saw that today.
2 plays later, we're adding in our third former Alabama player into the highlight, Josh Jacobs.
Well, Josh Jacobs looked like he was 100% back to the guy we're used to seeing.
All right, Raiders go on to win 34-17. Now, obviously, in the wake of John Gruden's resignation from the Raiders on Monday night, there have been a lot of questions on the process that led to that, and many wondering if and when the rest of the emails will be released. Mike Florio, what's the latest?
Well, and Maria, there's one area of confusion that has lingered since this all started. A lot of people believe it began because of the leak of one email, an email from John Gruden to former Washington President Bruce Allen about NFLPA Executive Director DeMaurice Smith, that's what started all this. The truth is the NFL had already flagged emails from John Gruden, gathered them, and was in the process of sending them to the Raiders at the time this first leaked. And there are many who wonder that if it had never leaked, would anything have ever been done about it? But there have been plenty of leaks over the course of the last week and a half. The league insists that it has not leaked anything, but the truth here is only a small handful of people have had access to these emails, 650,000 of them generated through the Washington football team investigation. The league won't say whether it's investigating, but again, not many have it. The league also says they won't be releasing any of these emails. Many say they should. Until they are, there's a chance that some of the leaks we've already seen could happen again.
Well, obviously, Mike, transparency is key. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, which is why it's imperative to continue to see other emails from that investigation. But guys, let's go back to the Gruden email. And it's really not the email itself. It's just the beginning. It's a cancer cell. And basically, if that cell is able to fester, then it can be insidious and take over things like hiring practices. That same mindset can infest hiring practices, or whether or not minorities are allowed to have leadership positions, or women for that matter. So, Coach, that kind of moves the ball forward into the Raiders opening up their hiring process for a new head coach. And how does the NFL move forward from here?
Well, I think we have to move forward. And what you described is exactly right, the process. It just seems to me that what the NFL looks at, these owners, many times they're looking for the media celebrity, the big name, the dominant personality. The 2 big stories we've had in coaching have been Urban Meyer and John Gruden this year, and they're results of that. And that's not the best way to do it, because what you need in the coaching position, head coaching, is leadership. You need someone with integrity. You need people that are going to have the respect of the staff and the players and bring that diversity in the locker room together, Drew.
And you need someone who can build the right culture. And so from a player's perspective, from a veteran player's perspective, the way I look at what do I want in our leader, in our head coach, and that is they got to be a great communicator, someone that has the ability to communicate the vision and create the path by which you're going to achieve that. The other thing is coordination. Be able to, just like with a company, coordinate the departments. On an NFL team, it's the offense, the defense, the special teams. How are we bringing it all together? How are they complementing one another? How are they all working together? And the most important thing, though, is caring about your players. They'll only care once they know how much you care. And it's not just what they do on the field. It's more importantly who they are as people. And I know plenty of minority assistant coaches who fit that bill and would make great head coaches, and I'm sure you feel the same way, Coach.
No doubt about it. There's guys like Joe Woods in Cleveland. I know those Cleveland players. I've talked to the team. I know what they feel about him. Byron Leftwich in Tampa, offensive coordinator there. Tom Brady talks all the time. I live in Tampa. I hear Tom Brady talking about how special this guy is, but he's not a big name. These are the guys we have to get opportunities for, Maria.
Yeah, and speaking of those minority candidates, I spoke to a young black assistant in the NFL, and he hopes to one day be actually out there with an opportunity to interview for head coaching jobs, but he said he feels like the goalpost is always moving. At the beginning, you're being told that you have to be able to call plays, and then you have the offensive coordinator at Kansas City being Eric Bieniemy, and then the report back is that he's not a good interviewer. And his question is, okay, well, maybe people were uncomfortable in the room with him, but that doesn't mean he's a bad interviewer. And his question was, are we just being tolerated as minority candidates, or are we being empowered? And that's something that the NFL has to take seriously, and that was a big concern. So it wasn't even, you know, the beginning of the iceberg is the email, but obviously everything deeper is the culture, the things that we're talking about here, Drew. And obviously you know that as being a former coach.
Yeah, and I think we have to have a game plan of how we're going to do this and look for just the best candidates. We've got a perfect example tonight with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I worked in that organization for a long time. Dan Rooney, the late owner, hired 3 coaches in 50 years. They all went to Super Bowls. They all won. But he had a formula. He wanted tough, young, aggressive defensive coaches. So he hired Chuck Noll when Coach Noll was in his 30s. He hired Bill Cowher when he was in his 30s. The last time he looked for a head coach, he had a lot of offensive coaches on his staff that were great coaches. But he said, I'm going to stick with my formula. I'm going to look for the best young coach I can find. Picked out an unknown guy named Mike Tomlin. I think that worked out pretty well.
Absolutely. He's one of the longest tenured head coaches. And that's all anyone ever wants is just objective standards that apply to everyone who is applying so that the opportunities are equal. And that's what we hope we have moving forward. Meanwhile, moving forward, Mike Tomlin, you just heard Coach talking about him, one of the longest tenured head coaches in the league, and he was hired because of those objective practices, waiting for the kickoff against the Seattle Seahawks at home.
Welcome to the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff.
Time to go on the field, presented by Hyundai. And let's take a look at the 39-year-old quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, looking to get his team back to 500 here tonight, Drew.
Yeah, Big Ben found his rhythm last week. A lot of big plays down the field. He loves throwing the ball up the seams, down the field, but he needs that run game to be successful tonight to set those things up.
All right, meanwhile, Geno Smith saw his first action of the season in Week 5 loss to the Rams, Coach.
And I talked to Seattle offensive passing game coordinator David Canales and Bobby Wagner, and they said he has prepared all year like a starter. They're not worried about him. They think he's going to play great tonight.
Okay, let's get to know Geno Smith and take a look at some notable moments in his career. We start with the Jets selecting him in the second round of the 2013 draft. Now that October, he beat Tom Brady and the Patriots, and that's the last time a rookie QB beat Brady. Then Smith's last start was for the Giants in Week 13 of 2017, a game that ended Eli Manning's streak of 210 straight regular season starts. And tonight, Smith's ending Russell Wilson's streak of 149 straight regular season starts, Smith will be the first quarterback aside from Wilson to start for Seattle in almost a decade. He's been through 4 different teams, a little bit of a journeyman, obviously a backup. What do you learn from a journey like that, Drew?
Well, I appreciate his journey. 2 years as a starter in a tough spot with the Jets, 6 years then as a backup. But let's remember who he backed up. Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers, Russell Wilson. So he's been in some good systems with some really good quarterbacks. You don't think he's chomping at the bit for this opportunity? He's been waiting for this moment for a long time.
And I was impressed with what he did last week, coming in cold, leading a touchdown drive. And these players have confidence in Gino, Maria. They think he is going to play lights out tonight.
Yeah, threw for 131 yards in last week's loss, and now he gets an opportunity to start. All right, let's get you back to the highlights. And we start with Arizona taking on the Browns. Remember, Cliff Kingsbury out with COVID. Vance Joseph, special teams coordinator Jeff Rogers sharing some coaching duties, but Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins were unstoppable regardless of the coaching situation.
Not just the great hands, but how about the run after the catch? and rock the baby.
There you go. Put it to sleep, Coach. Into the first. Baker Mayfield, he escapes. He's going to throw a Hail Mary to Donovan Peoples-Jones, and somehow he hauls it in.
We got to work on Hail Mary defense. I'm sorry, we got to work on it.
You can't catch it in your chest. That should never happen.
No DBs around.
Okay, this time the defense getting to Baker, strip sacked by J.J. Watt, recovered by Devon Kennard.
Boy, you hate to see this. Baker's already had problems with his left shoulder, and this looked really bad.
Yeah, he's playing with a partially torn labrum, injured, but he returned the next drive. Mayfield would have 3 turnovers in this game, but the ensuing drive, you get back to Murray, you get back to Hopkins, and that means you're having a touchdown.
So many weapons on this team, and Murray is just playing fantastic football right now.
Yeah, ties his career high with 4 touchdown passes, and Hopkins had 2 touchdown receptions on the day. The Chargers taking on the Ravens, 2 4-1 teams. A little bit of a measuring stick game for the young guns, Justin Herbert and Lamar Jackson, but it turned out to be a big day for the Ravens on the ground.
Both these teams are red hot coming into this, but I'll tell you what, the Ravens formula will never change. Run the football, play great defense, and Lamar Jackson.
Defense, Coach? Did they say defense?
I'd love to see it. I wanted to see which one of these teams was going to step up. Both of them had rough outings last week, but that Baltimore defense, they were all over the field today.
Yeah, Deshaun Elliott with that interception. Third quarter, Ravens up 11. Jackson connecting with Mark Andrews for the 9-yard touchdown. They take the 24-6 lead, and then the next Chargers drive, they're facing a 4th and 1 from their own 19-yard line. Brandon Staley's going for it. Herbert's pass is incomplete. A very bad day for the Chargers. They see their 3-game win streak snapped.
I think Baltimore's for real here, Coach.
And they take good pictures, too.
Yeah, they do.
How about Justin Tucker? Just get a whole group picture with your team because they won 5 straight games. They're certainly on a roll. And, Coach, you've been waiting basically all show to be able to talk defense. I would love for you to just give a little bit of love to the Ravens D.
You know, I think what happened, they played Kansas City, and they said, you know, we can't blitz Patrick Mahomes. I think they got a little bit away from their style, but they got back to it today. It was aggressive, tough, physical, and great coverage in the secondary.
Well, I think that game was a huge confidence boost for him, and you've seen that continue to grow. But how about their run game? Their run game, they're decimated early on in the season. They lost 3 running backs. Then they go and they get Devontae Freeman and Latavius Murray somehow off the street. And these guys have been effective for him. But honestly, this is a plug-and-play running back offense because you got Lamar Jackson. He accounts for at least 1 or 2 defenders on every play. Then he takes off and runs, whether it's a design run or it's just a scramble pass play. And then the play-action pass is lethal.
We talked about the defense getting back to their formula. It was just all over Justin Herbert today. Great pass rush, pressure from all over the place, and then this tight coverage. These guys played so confident in the secondary. They were really tough. Did the best job on Justin Herbert I've seen all year.
All right, well, now the Ravens move to 5-1, their next matchup against the Bengals, and we know that's going to be a big game, but it's time now for the Sunday Night Game Flow presented by Progressive. Let's go back to Chris Sims.
Yeah, let's talk about the Arizona Cardinals defense, right? We know about Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, A.J. Green. It's weapons galore on that side of the ball. But the defense was really impressive today. They harassed Baker Mayfield, Marcus Golden off the edge, pass rush, J.J. Watt, all game long was taking advantage of a Browns offense that was missing its 2 starting tackles, and that's right, they couldn't block him all day long. And then the coverage on the back end. Robert Alford had an interception at one point that we're not going to show here, but they were all over these Browns wide receivers. Very impressive defensive performance by the Arizona Cardinals, and they're for real on both sides of the ball, Maria.
All right, Chris. Well, they're getting set right now in Pittsburgh. We've got 2 Super Bowl winning head coaches, Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, going up against Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. And, you know, DK Metcalf, he's got his super blue hair on. He's looking to step it up with Russell Wilson injured, but he'll have to do it against a Pittsburgh defense led by the All-Pro TJ Watt. The countdown is on, less than 10 minutes away from kickoff as the Steelers host the Seahawks. Both teams headed back to their locker room to get ready for the final game of Week 6. Now it's time for our Verizon Best of Week 6, brought to you by Verizon, the official 5G network of the NFL. We start Houston, Indianapolis. The Colts bouncing back in a big way against the Texans.
They got T.Y. Hilton back, and that helped the offense. Carson Wentz was on fire.
All right, and then Joe Burrow and the Bengals took care of business in Detroit, Drew.
Yeah, this could have been a letdown game for Bengals of the past, but not this year. How about this team chemistry, though? You got your star receiver, Jamar Chase, throwing blocks down the field. Good stuff by the Bengals.
All right, great stuff for Kansas City because they needed a win, a much-needed win.
Very sloppy early on, but the precision was back by the fourth quarter.
Patrick Mahomes threw for 397 yards today. Meanwhile, the Chargers taking on Baltimore. It was all Ravens, though.
You said it, Coach. A vintage Baltimore defensive effort today. Pressure, turnovers. They played lights out.
Held the Chargers offense to a season-low 6 points, and they've won their 5th straight. Minnesota taking on Carolina. Carolina rallied from an 11-point deficit, but it's Minnesota.
Kirk Cousins in the offense once again getting the big play to get the win.
And then they walk away with the 34-28 overtime win. And then Green Bay taking on the Bears. Aaron Rodgers kind of doing what he does best, beat the Bears.
We should have warned the Bears, but I thought they'd know this being in the division. You never go for the Rodgers pump fake in the red zone.
All right, he still owns you, Chicago. I'm sorry. The Chicago Sky did win the WNBA Finals, so you have that going for you. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Rams taking on the New York Giants. Stafford threw 4 touchdowns as the Rams completely cruised past New York.
He spread it out here. He sees a mismatch running back on a linebacker, takes advantage of that.
That's 5-1. That's the Rams. They're off to their best start since 2018. Then Vegas at Denver. Tumultuous week, but the Raiders coming out strong against the Broncos.
Yeah, they really came together this week as a team, made plays on both sides of the ball, going on the road. Great win in the division.
And Arizona at Cleveland. Remember, no Cliff Kingsbury, but a lot of Kyler Murray matching his career high 4 passing touchdowns.
Anybody playing better than Kyler Murray right now? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
He's a stud.
That was the Best of Week 6, brought to you by Verizon, the official 5G network of the NFL. All right, guys, one more highlight. Chris Sims, get over here. It's Cowboys taking on the Patriots. Start in the second quarter. You got to put in work. Dak Prescott looking for Cedric Wilson, but it's tipped an interception.
Mistakes were the theme early on for Dallas. They moved the ball up and down the field of the New England Patriots. In fact, Coach and I were going, I've never seen a team dominate like this, and they're losing by 7.
Right. Later in the second, Cowboys down 4, 4th and goal from the 1. They go for it. Initially, it's ruled a touchdown, Chris.
Yes.
But then, upon further review, Jawan Bentley knocked it loose. It's ruled a fumble, and the Patriots recover a touchback.
Great job by Jawan Bentley getting a hand in there, and I would argue he scored on 3rd down on the quarterback sneak before that.
All right, and then we go into the 3rd quarter.
Beautiful.
Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, the Cowboys are turning it on now.
Yeah, they turned it on. In the second half, they got the offense going and really executed.
Patriots, though, they're battling right back. Ramondre Stevenson for the touchdown. They take the 1-point lead there. The ensuing Cowboys possession, 4th and 2 from the Patriots 33.
They decide to kick the field goal, and Zerline misses it left, and you're going, Patriots luck has struck here.
Okay, next Patriots possession. Jones overthrows it. Guess what? A pick-6 by our guy.
I've never seen anything like this. I mean, Trayvon Diggs, it seems like it's every week. It's unbelievable ball skills, and you're not used to seeing these type of mistakes out of New England.
He has more touchdowns than his brother, Stephon Diggs, so far on the season. He's got 2. Next play, Jones right back to Bourne, and they connect for a 75-yard touchdown.
Yeah, this is a good play. I don't think Mac Jones really should have ever thrown owned that ball. I mean, the safety made a horrible break, and then, of course, Diggs didn't do a great job in coverage either.
Next Cowboy drive, 3rd and 25. Prescott, he's going to find one of his receivers. It's C.D. Lamb with the catch.
Over the middle, gives them a chance, but what are they going to do? They didn't make the field goal on 4th and 1 the time before.
No, Greg Zuerlein, he's lining it up again, though. Can he make it this time?
He did. He made it this time. I mean, really, that was a gutsy call by Mike McCarthy.
And that ties up the game. Okay, so we're going to head to overtime. A little bit more of what you've already seen, though. Dak Prescott showing poise, hitting the same target we've seen before in C.D. Lamb. 35-yard touchdown for the Cowboys to win.
Dallas makes you respect the run game all game long. That's what makes C.D. Lamb wide open on a bootleg pass.
So it's the 5th straight win for Dallas. They have a 3-game lead in the NFC East. They're 5 wins, as many as anyone else in the division. So, Coach, let's start with what we saw from the Cowboys, having to bounce back from a poor start.
I have to really just say Dak Prescott was unbelievable today. All of those times in the red zone, the problems, things don't go right, you don't score, you're playing well, you should be winning. He didn't get discouraged. He just kept coming back, making plays. 3rd and 25. You know, Prescott just played outstanding today in a big situation.
He did, and I've been really impressed with this Dallas defense and the way that they've responded this year. So light years changed from what they were last year. And how about Trayvon Diggs? This guy is unbelievable. If he's close to the ball, he's coming down with it. They weren't good against the run early on in this game, but they came out, stopped New England on the very first drive to give the ball back to their offense to be able to go and win in overtime.
So Prescott throws for 445 yards, and we also see Diggs stepping up with that huge pick 6. So the Cowboys get their 5th straight win, but it's time now for our home team picks, brought to you by Lowe's. Let's go to the Steel City. Jack Collinsworth, who you got?
Maria, 52% of the country is on the Hawks, even without Russell Wilson. Pittsburgh, they gave Buffalo their only loss to start the year, now coming off a smooth win over Denver. Geno Smith, he may surprise some people tonight. I thought the Steelers came back to life last weekend. I'm on the home team. Rod, who you taking?
I'm picking the Pittsburgh Steelers. Really excited to see Najee Harris run tonight, but I think it's imperative that their secondary doesn't give up the big plays to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I'm on a steel curtain.
There you go. Mike Florio, Chris Sims, who you picking?
Hey, you know, Chris, 9 days ago, I would have picked the Seahawks, but Russell Wilson's not there. The Steelers are looking better. Steelers, baby. Steelers, baby.
Look at
Let's
you.
do it. I got props. I'm Carrot Top.
I'm going with the Steelers, too. I think they got their run game going last week. They got a great defense. If Big Ben can just not make a crucial turnover scrambling, Steelers win this game.
All right, so who we got? Who are we rolling with? Me first?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't even tell the producers,
first.
But because we got the steel curtain, I'm going to go with the Seahawks.
Wow, okay. Well, I always choose defense because I think, you know, we're going to have explosive offense. I think Geno Smith is going to play well, but that Steelers defense will make some plays.
You challenged the Seahawks defense, and I've been talking up Geno Smith all night, so I'm going Seahawks too.
Okay, yes, let's go, Drew. I'm rolling with you. All right, those were tonight's home team picks brought to you by Lowe's, and it looks like they're ready in Pittsburgh. The Seahawks and the Steelers both looking to get back to 500 and potentially save their season. Mike Tirico, our guy, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya have the call, but that's always after Carrie Underwood gets us started. We will see you at the half. Please enjoy the game.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff. Spanish language audio provided by Telemundo Deportes, or watch tonight's game in Spanish on Universo.